Team Direct Strategies. We're headed into another battle report. Tonight we have 1,750 points. Maelstrom. No, not Maelstrom. Tempest of War. Yeah, looking forward to playing this one. I was a fan of Maelstrom. The last version of Maelstrom. I think towards the end of Maelstrom, where you could start editing your decks a little bit more, that was pretty fun. I think it fixed a lot of issues that Maelstrom had. So Tempest of War, looking forward to playing it. You never know what you're going to get into when you're drawing those cards. It could go well, it could go poor. But they have that built-in ability where you can discard, for 1 CP, you can discard an objective you don't want to have or can't achieve. So that helps. And then at the end of each turn, you can discard all the cards if you truly can get them, and then just draw 3 again. So it should be fun. I do think so. I'm not gonna lie. I'm absolutely scared of Tyranids right now. I don't keep a steady thumb on the on what people are saying about it, but I enjoy watching battle reports on my own time too, and I've seen some nasty, absolute nasty battle reports with Tyranids. It looks like they have everything. The guns, the charging, the assaults, the psychic phase. It looks like all the toys are in the Tyranid Codex. This will be the first game against the new Codex, so who knows how it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go well for the boys in blue here. I'm going to bring Ultramarines. Gulliman's going to make an appearance in this particular battle report. You'll see in the Army review. It could go... We'll see. We'll leave it at that. We'll see. We'll do an endgame battle roundup, and I'll give my kind of, as an opponent facing the new Tyranids, how I felt, how it went, and how things will go in the future. So let's get into it. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. Tonight's 1750 battle report, Tyranids versus Adeptus Astartes. We're going to be playing Tempest of War today. That's why we have our cards out here. First one of Tempest of War, so I'm kind of very, very curious to see how this one goes. I liked Maelstrom back in the day. It did have some issues, but I think 9th edition needs a little mix-up, so I'm hoping this Tempest of War is a fun format. I've heard some good things about it, so let's get into it. Essentially, you have to draw 3 cards from 3 different decks to tell you what to do for deployment, mission, and then mission special rules. So what we drew for tonight's battle is Dawn of War Deployment. That's a classic one. I absolutely love Dawn of War. So it's going down the long deployment, and then you're coming across with a 24-inch no man's land. So that should be a blast from the past classic. Primary mission is Take and Hold. So in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th battle rounds, at the end of each player's command phase, the players whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each of the following conditions that they satisfy. They control 1 objective, 2 objectives, or more than your opponent controls. And then in the 5th battle round, blah, blah, blah. So we'll get into that when we start playing. And then the mission rule here is Pall of Dread, which is interesting. You actually can't use the Insane Bravery stratagem, so... you're going to have to take your morale checks no matter what in this battle. As far as the tabletop terrain setup, here we have, it's basically 5 big pieces, almost like a dice here. So in the far corner, we have a large ruin, another large ruin, so that's +1 to your cover saves when you're inside that, plus it's line of sight blocking. And then we have a combination of industrial structures and a line of sight blocking silo here on both sides. We'll go over there in a minute. But essentially, if you're in here and you can be seen, it'll be -1 to hit through there as well. And we have line of sight blocking here, but if you're in underneath it or on any of these levels all the way up the tower, that is -1 to hit while shooting through it. And over here again, a silo with a line of sight blocking silo, and then the industrial structure. So if you're on top of it, in it, and you can be seen, it will be -1 to hit. And then we have just two areas here with shipping containers, the armored Munitorum containers on both sides symmetrically. So this is a symmetrical setup. Again, Dawn of War, one army will be all along this line, and another one will be all along this line. And I tried to set it up so deployments, if people wanted to get in the buildings, you could. Not all the way into the building, so you can get on those layers. Same thing over here. You can get on the layers as we go up the building. So this should be fun. Again, blast from the past. I loved Dawn of War. I loved Maelstrom. So let's get into some Tempest of War. So for tonight's matchup, I will be bringing the Ultramarines, Adeptus Astartes, 1,750 points right on the dot. We have 2 detachments tonight. We have 1 Supreme Warlord detachment, and we are bringing Reboot Guilliman. This is the premier showing of him, so let's see what he can do on the battlefield. In the battalion detachment, we do have our 2 HQ slots filled. One of them will be the Lieutenant, and he paid a point to get Hero of the Chapter, which gives him another Warlord trait, and he'll be the Adept of the Codex, so he refunds CPs on 5+. He also paid another point for Relic of the Chapter to upgrade his bolt pistol to the Purgatorus, just because I like that gun. In the other HQ slot, we have a Primaris Librarian. He will be bringing to the battlefield Smite, Null Zone, and Might of Heroes. For his relic, he has the Reliquary of Galthalamor. So that should help with any Tyranid psychic powers, theoretically. In the troop selection, we do have kind of vanilla 5 base Primary Space Marines, 5, 5, and 5. So a little bit of MSU there with, in this Tempest of War, we're not quite sure where objectives are going to be placing other than the 3 that we place. So that'll help in getting out on those objective secured pieces. In the HQ slot, we are bringing 3 Eliminators with Lattice Fusiles, a good anti-armor, in this case anti-monster unit, a unit of 5 Hellblasters with Plasma Incinerators, and he performed admirably in the last battle report, the Gladiator Lancer. So again, he'll be doing some anti-monster hunting. In the fast attack slot, we do have 1 unit of Inceptors. Again, gives the ability to jump out on those objectives wherever they show up. And then, of course, the dual Redemptors. They are equipped with the Plasma Incinerators, the Frankstorm on their chest, and then the Underslung Onslaught Gatling Cannon. So like I said, that is 1,750 points on the nose. Let's get to the scary monster list of Tyranids.
Here we have a 1,750 point army of High Feet Leviathan, being led by a Swarm Lord, except the Swarm Lord, a Hive Tyrant there in the center, with bone swords and with a gun. And then the other HQ is this Neurothrope I have there in the front. For my troops, I've got 2 squads of 10 Gargoyles. I've got 3 squads of 3 Warriors. And over here, I've got 1 squad of 10 Hormigans. So lots of troops. Elites, I've got the Zoanthropes right here. In my fast slot, I've got my Moloch, who's in the back there. Heavy support, I've got a squad of 2 Carnifexes. And I've got an Exocrine, and I've got Tyrannifex with the acid spray gun. And then finally, I've got a Harpy flyer in the back there, and that comes out to 1,250 on the nose.
1,750, right?
1750. I'm sorry, yeah, 1750.
I was gonna say, whoa.
Yeah. 1750. We play a lot of 1750 on the nose.
So playing Tempest of War, each of us, we have 5 objectives on the field in this particular strike force battle. So 1 has to be placed within Each deployment zone on this side of the battlefield is right behind these Munitorium containers right there. And then the other one in the deployment is placed right on the edge of this tall Manufactorum building. The other three have to be in no man's land. So one is close to dead center. The other one here on the left is by this silo. And then swinging over here, we have another one on the corner of this tall building. So as you can see, our armies have been deployed. Chris won the roll-off for attacker defender, chose to be defender, and picked the far Dawn of War deployment over there. Since I'm over here, I'll go over the deployment for the Space Marines. Starting on the far left here, we have the Eliminators stacked up in the tall Manufactorum building. They'll probably, no windows on this level, so they'll probably have to get up a level to get some shots off at the opponent. In the leftmost ruin building, claiming this objective is 5 intercessors, and they are screening off this corner at least from any incursions. Next up is the Gladiator Lancer behind line of sight. And then we have kind of packed in here in the middle. In the front, leading the charge, is a unit of 5 intercessors. Again, they are trying to hold down that objective. We have the Primaris Librarian on the left, Rabute Gulliman in the middle, passing out his big aura. Lieutenant also passing out his aura of rerolled wounds. And then we have Redemptor number 1, unit of 5 Hellblasters, unit of 5 intercessors, stacked up against that crate, ready to head out. And then on the far right flank, pretty open over here, didn't deploy anything on this side, is the other Redemptor. Coming in turn 2, turn 3 is the Inceptors for the Space Marines. So let's head over to the Tyranids.
Deployed across a very broad front, trying to, well, and actually I have synaptic link range all throughout my army currently, which is important for a variety of tactical reasons. But you can see warriors spaced apart. I got my flyer, some of the heavies coming up the middle here. A little bit of psychic heavy on the left here with my Neurothrope and my Zoanthropes. T-Fex is getting ready to go, and over here in this building I've got a bunch of the Hormigans ready to run out and do their thing. Moloch is set up to come up from below, and the Gargoyle squads are ready to come down from above in turn 2 or 3.
All right, so we're going to roll off on screen here just first turn. We'll let the Tyranids roll first. They get a 6. Let's see if I can match that. Nope, didn't get it. So
you're using up all my 6s too early.
I'm all right with that. So Tyranids will be top of turn 1. So we are going to, Chris is going to pull the first 3 objectives, secondary objectives. Looks like we have
prisoners, blood and guts, extend battle line. We got to figure out what all these mean.
Yeah, we're going to read through them, but we just wanted to get each one on. If you're following along with your own deck at home, you can look these up. So we're going to read through them and learn what Chris needs to do. So we are at the end of movement and psychic phase. Tyranids, top of turn 1. What happened?
Yeah, we just we shuffled up here to control that objective. A little bit of movement up into the center, but a push here on the left. I got my Zoanthrope unit up within smite range of that Contemptor. In the psychic phase, they did smite some, and then through Synaptic Link, did a psychic scream from him, channeling it to the same unit, just to get a couple mortal wounds off.
Yeah, so the Redemptor lost 3 wounds, so he's down to 10 on this side.
And that was in the psychic phase. Harpy flew over here, dropped a bomb on this Contemptor, and took 3 points off of him. So now we're going to go on to shooting.
Shooting phase. So we just finished up Tyranid shooting phase. What happened, Chris?
The Harpy shot into the back of the Dread, took up more points off of him. We also acid sprayed him to get some more points off of him. And then had some really strong shooting and rolling from over here. The Exocrine shot its bioplasmic cannon over and took out that Dread. And then had a heavy venom cannon on each of the Carnifexes and the Tyrant. And that shot and got 4 of the Marines that were in front of the Supreme Commander over there. So I was really happy. I had some really hot rolls.
Yes. And then at the end of the turn, I did play Transhuman on the Intercessors. It just didn't help him in this turn. And the Sergeant left. He did pass his morale check, so he's fine. And then this one is down to 3, quite crippled on the right flank. So, yeah, well done on the Tyranids to get that much armor taken off the field turn 1. So let's get into Space Marines. Bottom of turn 1. Yeah, let's while we're here, let's do. I have Battlefield Supremacy and Hold the Line and Attempting Target. So we're gonna read through those. If you're following along at home, again, pop those cards out and we'll see if we can score some points before we die. So let's get into bottom of turn 1 Space Marines. Okay, finished the moving phase and the psychic phase for the Space Marines. Troops over here stayed put. Illuminators stayed put up there. By the way, I had in the deployment, these guys do have that special rules where they don't have to be within a deployment zone. So they actually deployed up here instead of down there. So they didn't have to move. So they didn't move. The Lancer moved out. I got to see if I can't do something against that Exocrine. At least knock it down a bracket or 2. This very crippled Dreadnought just plotted 4 inches forward. So I was hoping to get in and then charge him and do some damage. But I don't think that charge, I don't even think that's a 12. Unfortunately, these Intercessors moved around. They had to actually use a command reroll to get an advance, but they still rolled a 1. So they didn't get out there far enough. This Intercessor, since I do have investigates sight, I'm going to be within 6 inches of the battlefield. He tried to get out there and get on that center objective. Plus, he's also one-man screen against Gulliman. Probably a stupid move, but I have to be aggressive. I can't sit back and just let this army get pulled apart in the shooting phase. The Librarian moved up, as did the Lieutenant. Hellblasters stayed put. So that was movement phase. In the psychic phase, we cast Might of Heroes on Gulliman, and we smited the Harpy down 3, so it's at 10. So let's get into the shooting phase. I'll probably, like I said, launch some Lancer shots at the Exocrine. Same with the Eliminators, and then these Hellblasters are going to try to light up the Harpy. We'll see what this crippled guy can do over here, too. So that is it. I don't know if I will be getting any of the secondaries. Possibly Hold the Line if Chris doesn't, but he does have a lot of incoming Gargoyles and a Moloch, so that's going to be a tough one to get. Investigate Sight, like I said, I didn't quite get 3 inches on here, so that'll be tricky to do. And then Tempting Target, Chris picked this one over here for me to try and control with those Hormagaunts are actually in the building controlling that, so that'll be a tough one. I don't think I'm going to score secondaries, but let's see what we get into in the shooting phase. Just finished up Space Marines shooting phase, no assaults as well. So what happened with the Wisdom of Ancients, the Hellblasters, and the Lieutenant, and the Librarian in the psychic phase did finish off the Harpy, so that at least was 1 kill. The Lancer did shoot off his Lancer Destroyer gun and bring down quite a few wounds off the Exocrine over there, and then the Eliminators got even more shots. So the Exocrine is at 3 wounds remaining. So that was healthy, to bring him down into that severely wounded state. And then over here, I did shoot the Macroplasma and did get a wound off. 1 wound through on the Tyrannifex. So overall, not too bad. I'm pleased with what I did, but it's going to hurt this next one. So let's get into... Oh, and by the way, I did discard all of my secondaries. There just wasn't anything I could achieve, especially with the Gargoyles and the Moloch coming in. So let's get to Chris's turn. I don't think we're drawing any this.
I'm going to draw it. I got this one.
Okay.
So my new one will be Bring It Down.
Bring It Down. That should be doable.
I'm not going to take it down Gilliman. It's not going to be that easy. So.
But we have a severely wounded Redemptor, and Bring It Down as vehicles, right?
Bring It Down. It's your highest wound characteristic model.
Okay. So that might be actually the Lancer. So let's get to what Chris does in the movement and psychic phase. All right, finished top of turn 2, Tyranids, movement and psychic phase. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, well, the command phase, we have a Terror from the Deep starting in here. It's a new way that you do the Moloch. You have to kind of say it a turn ahead of time before you come in.
Okay.
But then moved up my T-Fex, pretty much everybody moved up over there except for my artillery battery back there. Had the Hive Tyrant move, used the stratagem to give him a 6-inch advance, and then he also was able to get off the stratagem that allowed him to charge after advancing. Oh, guys, just moving up, spread out a little bit with the Hormigons in the back and the Warriors over here trying to deny some space for his jumpsuit guys coming in, and then brought in Gargoyles on either of his flanks. Mostly, I think, just to give him something to think about. I'm not sure how effective they're going to be, but they're taking up space, and they'll have to think about it. So we're going to go on and do some... Oh, and this sergeant here was attempted to be smited twice and psychic shrieked once, and they all failed, and there's something about him. He even backlashed and perils the Neurothrop. So he's standing out there like a boss. Nothing bugging him.
All right, so we're going to go into shooting phase. Prepare yourself for not a lot of blue left. End of turn 2 shooting. What happened, Chris?
Started just opening up with Gargoyles to see what happens. I think I got one guy out over here. These Gargoyles, where's that guy?
Where's that guy, the heroic sergeant?
All right. This is the sergeant that three smites were missed on him.
Yep.
All these guys shot at him, missed.
Yep.
Warrior shot at him, missed or saved. Both Carnifexes shot at him, missed or saved.
Yep.
Finally, I was trying to get him out of the way so I could shoot at Gilliman. Finally, this heavy venom cannon did take him down, but there's a whole lot of other things I didn't get to shoot at, with this sergeant being a boss out in the middle.
So yeah, he'll probably have a little purity seal hanging from him next time.
And Exocrine shot over and took out this tank. That Exocrine gun is pretty nuts. So that's shooting. I'm going to try to charge Gilliman with the Hive Tyrant. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Gets in.
Let's see what happens
Here we
when
go.
2 HQs go at it. The combat went off, and let's see, the Gulliman's down to 6, and the Swarm Lord is down to 7. So they swung, they hit, and vulnerable saves actually coming into effect a lot. Gulliman did get 2 6s to wound, however, the Tyranid rule where he gets the...
the synaptic imperative is from the Neurothrop was active this battle round, which gave the 5 up invuln against mortal wounds, which was very fortunate.
And he rolled 4 of the 5 ups, I
Yeah.
believe. So that would have been 5 mortal wounds, which would have brought him down to 2. So, yeah, Tyranids.
Punching away.
Tyranids. Okay, Space Marines, bottom of turn 2, drawing 3 new ones. Storm, hostile, objective, defend, stronghold, and assassination. So you might actually get assassination. But let's get into movement phase and psychic phase and see what my heroic few can do. Movement phase is finished for the Space Marines, the Librarian, and the Lieutenant, supporting Gulliman on his left and right. These troops stayed put. These Eliminators stayed put. Hellblasters moved out and over. Probably will supercharge on that turn effects. And then lastly, the Inceptors came in. There wasn't really spots to land, so we're just going to see if we can strip a couple gargoyles off the table and then see how maybe we'll head up the board later on in the game. So, with the missions, assassination, if I can kill that Hive Tyrant, that would be good. Defend Stronghold, we'll see. That Moloch's coming in right here, so that's going to be troublesome for these intercessors, but they got to stay put on that. And then Storm Hostile Objective. Essentially, you control one or more objective markers that were controlled by your opponent at the start of your turn. These intercessors advanced onto that objective, and they are objective secured, as is the warriors, but they outnumber them, at least for now. So that theoretically I will score Storm Hostile Objective. So let's get into, and then in the psychic phase, we smited. First we tried Null Zone. That one was denied by the Hive Tyrant, and then we did smite for, was it 2 wounds? So that was that. Let's get into shooting. Not too much shooting involved, but I might be able to block off some. If I can kill that Exocrine this turn, I'll call that as a minor victory. And then it'll be primetime fight match here with the Hive Tyrant versus Gulliman. And then we'll probably send in the Librarian and the Lieutenant too, just to see if we can't chip them off. Turn 2 Ultramarines. The Librarian went in with his attacks first and did one wound got through for that, and then the Hive Tyrant did interrupt and attack Gulliman. Gulliman was a beast, though. He saved all of his 3-up invul saves. I think there was a total of 6 wounds there to save, and then ultimately Gulliman chopped him down in his assault phase. The Lieutenant did help out. Lieutenant actually didn't get to swing. So after that,
Lieutenant buffed the
right. So then they moved up to the closest enemy units, and Gulliman stayed put. And then over here, we did have one gargoyle fall back just with the morale. So one's left over here. So at the end of the phase, at the beginning of the phase, I scored 5 for holding the 1. And then for secondary objectives, I scored Storm Hostile Objective with the 4 intercessors versus the 2. So we got that with objective secured, and then assassination. So that was good as far as that. And then I am still holding on to Defend Stronghold. If I do at the end of Chris's next turn still hold this objective, I will claim that one. So let's head into top of turn 3 Tyranids. Chris, are you drawing any more?
I think, yeah.
Drawn 3. So let's see what we draw.
We got assassination.
Okay.
A little bit on the ways to that. Grind them down. And deploy teleport Homer.
All right. I think there's some doable ones in there. So let's see what happens in the movement and psychic phase. End of turn 3 movement and psychic phase.
Yeah, so we're just concentrating the center here to go against those Space Marines. So a lot of people just getting closer. The one gargoyle over there that's left, he's doing an action. He's deploying teleport homers. The Moloch came in, really didn't do much. Chopped up and then got shot.
Yeah,
with the Auspex scan.
Yeah, I played Auspex scan because why not? Threw a grenade and just 1 wound down on them. We took 1 mortal wound when the Malak came up, and then actually Gulliman took 2.
Okay,
so
yeah.
there wasn't horrible. Chip and Gullah went down. So let's get into shooting phase and see how much more damage the artillery line can do.
Everything shot at the squad that was controlling that objective in the center. They were making some great rolls. We had all the gargoyles shoot at them, warriors shot at them, warriors shot at them, acid sprayed them. Heavy venom cannon. There still was. Oh no, I think that's what got them at the end. I think, and then there's a couple shots left, and one of those in the exocrine came over and took out the librarian. I think is how that worked. But yeah, he's making some great saves at this point. I know it's a little. We'd like to have those rolls earlier on, but they're hanging tough. The guys that are still on the board.
Yeah, so Chris scored another 10 and 15 for primary. So, I mean, the game is essentially over. We're just going to play it and see how much damage I can do. But the points have been made. So let's just get into Tyranids, or Space Marines, bottom of turn 3. All right, so I did, at the end of turn 3, I did score my last defense stronghold. So that was another 5 points for Space Marines. So that gives me 3 more cards to do, grind them down. Chris had that one earlier. No prisoners. Chris had that one earlier. And Blood and Guts. And Chris had that one earlier. So, oh man, Blood and Guts. Let me have a look at these and we'll see what we're going to do. We might discard one of these. Blood and Guts doesn't seem... I mean, Gulliman's on the board, but let me read through them. Movement phase, Ultramarines, Hellblasters. I'm trying to get grind them down, and I'm trying to get overwhelming firepower. So the idea here, the Inceptors do want to fly up that way, but they are just going to sit and pluck this guy off and get 1 kill point. These guys, Hellblasters moved over, are going to fire against the Warriors over here. There's one's on 1 rune, and there's just 2 left there. So theoretically, I should kill another unit. Gulliman's going to come over here and take on this 12 wound Tyrannifex. Not sure how it's going to go, but there is a possibility he can slice that up. And the lieutenant is kind of screening at least as much as he can. He'll shoot his Purgatorus off. Eliminators, still viable unit. They can choose some shots here and try. And then these guys, they just have to sit on this objective as long as they can to score at least 5 a turn in the take and hold mission. So they'll probably just fire into this Moloch, and then, yeah. So let's get into shooting phase and assault phase. We'll wrap up all in one. Shooting phase, over here the Inceptors did finish off that last Gargoyle, so that's 1 kill point. Purgatorus and the Hand of Dominion cleared out a good many Gargoyles. There's 3 left. Unfortunately, that's not a kill point, but it does kind of go towards, what is that? No prisoners, as far as that goes. Over here, Crack Grenade actually hit the Moloch and did 2 wounds. The Eliminators tried to get, almost got another unit kill over here and dropped 2 of the Warriors down, so that was good as well. So we have a charge into the Tyrannifex. Should be a fun one to see what happens. Probably will send the lieutenant in there too, just so he doesn't get shot. So let's see. Gulliman, Chris, are you gonna Overwatch?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do Overwatch and then see what happens. Charge phase. The lieutenant was brought low with the Overwatch. Kind of expected that one, but I needed to get in there with Gulliman. Gulliman chopped the Tyrannifex up with the Emperor's Sword. Did a lot of wounds on that. So ultimately, at the end of that, I did score no prisoners because the wound tally was over 30 on that one. All the Gargoyles, the Warriors, the Gargoyle over there, and then the Tyrannifex. So that was good. I did put 2 to overwhelming firepower and 3 to grind them down. So if Chris kills 3 units, that would probably be close to all my army. He'll deny me that one. So let's get to Chris's. Well, at the top of Chris's, this is turn 4. Still holding that, still holding that, still holding that, still holding that. So he gets another 15. Like I said, the points are way in the Tyranids' favor. But we're just going to play and see what happens with Gulliman. What does Chris draw for this turn?
I'm drawing Area Denial,
Okay.
and Storm Hostile Objective.
Tyranids, turn 4. We did everything all in one because there's really not much left on the board. But the big one is Rebute was smited to death.
Smited off the board, and then Exocrine took care of the snipers.
Yeah, Exocrine lit up them even with their extra save. They just fell.
Yeah, and his not moving helps ignore. They didn't get the extra cover in there, but yeah, that rolls. And ran this guy over here to help control that objective if these guys had lived, because they're plinking off the warriors and just kind of hanging out on objectives now.
Yep, and he did drop one low on that. So, Chris got the 15 at the primaries for taking hold, and then he
got area denial.
Got area denial because Rebute fell. So that was what is that? That's 20 points in that turn, and then I did grind them down just because I killed more, 3 to the 2. So let's go Ultramarines turn 4. What do I draw? I draw Bring It Down. Draw Secure No Man's Land. And Capture Enemy Outpost. So I'll have a look at these, and then, like I said, we'll get this whole turn all in one. So Tyranids won by a lot. I mean, they scored 15 for the last 4 all the turns. So they just won it on primaries alone. Awesome job on the Tyranids. Awesome job for Chris, building this army. It is a great looking force. We just got done talking as far as everything got better other than the Moloch. Anything on this table. I mean, Gargoyles alone got better. I'll do a post-game kind of synapse of as the opponent facing the Tyranids. But they got a, what did they call it? A heroic win or a overwhelming win on this one. I mean, ultimately, I just called it at the end of the turn 4 just because I wasn't going to score any more. And like I said, the primaries just took it away on its own. So we'll do a little kind of end game thing. I'll talk about how I felt as the opponent. I'll try not to be too salty. I'll be positive. Don't worry. But Tyranids are rocking right now, and So Chris got the victory, and we'll see you in the end game roundup. That one is in the books. Congratulations to Chris and the Tyranids. Absolute slaughterfest when it comes to the win on this one, both in points and just ultimate kill points. The Ultramarines struggled to stay alive. MVP of the round, Exocrine, hands down. I know the Tyranid has good guns too, but Exocrine in this battle. Chris was rolling hot, but even if he wasn't, I think you don't have to roll that hot to get that Exocrine off. The amount of shots, the amount of strength, the amount of AP, the amount of damage it puts out. I mean, I think it's 5 more points than the Gladiator, and you just compare those two. I mean, it's an auto take if you're a Tyranid player, in my personal opinion, if you like shooty armies. But anyways, MVP to Exocrine. Awesome unit. Gulliman, I guess I'll give it to Gulliman. He chopped up the Hive Tyrant and the Tyranid. Why not at this point? So good on Gulliman. I'm not going to talk too much about power creep and balance and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. Taking a more positive approach to the hobby. I love this hobby. I love playing the game. I love building models, painting models, building terrain. I love all aspects of the hobby, building armies, and so on and so forth. So it truly is what it is. Seeing codexes over the year, played for many editions, many codexes. It's like a stock market. Peaks and valleys. Some codexes come out and they're like meh, and then some codexes come out and they're like god level as far as just the power level and the amount of toys that they have. Am I saying these codexes that are at the top right now are untouchable? No, I don't think they are. They're definitely beatable. You just have to approach the game a little differently when you're facing some of these codexes. And it doesn't necessarily have to do a lot with yes, list building. So say you have a very god level codex right now, right? So it's powerful. It has all the toys. It's always going to be in this realm, right? Even if you write a subpar list, it'll go down a little bit, but it's still going to be above these other codexes. And you could write a really cool list, like an absolute boss list, and it's going to go even higher. Again, they're not untouchable. They are beatable. You just have to approach your army building a little differently, and that's the point I want to kind of touch upon. Is these codexes that don't have all the toys, that are a little older. They have, they don't have all the buff stat lines and all that kind of stuff. The unfortunate thing is not a lot of people. I think there's a large percentage of people within the hobby that are not, they're not fortunate enough to have, tons of display cases full of models. They might not even want tons of display cases full of models where, they don't have the backup. They are forced to then go out, study their codex, go out and buy more models that they might not have and build them and paint them and try to become a little bit more competitive. That's where I think it becomes unfortunate, because you feel stuck. Whether you can get models, or maybe you can't. Maybe you can't afford the model that you want to get. It puts you in a kind of a back foot position when it comes to army building and trying to stay competitive with some of these, right? So that's the unfortunate side of things. I do think, if you are playing in the Warhammer hobby, you are aware of this, and maybe you save up for that next model, or maybe the next model, you have a kind of priority list of models that you absolutely want and models that you absolutely need, and then you can if the funds open up to buy another one, you pick something off the need list versus the want list to try and compete a little bit more with these. There's other things to try and compete though. Say you're stuck with the army that you have. There's no more reinforcements coming for you. Try different play styles. Try to play a little more defensively or aggressively. Use cover. There are ways that even if you don't want to change your army, you can try to compete a little bit more. Will it swing the scales in your favor? Rarely it will. I think it'll just swing the scales a little bit closer to even. Will it be even? Maybe. But it'll probably be around here. So you'll be over here and they'll be up here a little bit. But that's where you can get some wins in, and that's where you can compete a little bit more. So that's I think the unfortunate part of power creep that I've seen over the years, that it just forces you to build a different army that you might not want to bring to the tabletop, or you might not have the ability to bring to the tabletop. For this particular battle, I am lucky enough to have some reinforcements that we can try out. But that's the fun thing about the hobby too, is there's always something you want to purchase and buy. So there are a few more things in here that I want to get and paint and build and all that kind of stuff. So that's the upside of that argument as well. The other thing is the hype train. The last point I'll touch upon is when you're dealing with the hype train, it's anywhere, anything that you're consuming. I mean, we humans will want to buy it. I mean, it's a brand new car or food, cheeseburger, or Taco Bell, or whatever it may be. The hype train has to be there to get you into whatever you're going to purchase, or whether you're going to consume, or whatever it may be. So codexes, when they come out, units when they come out, they're going to have hype around them. These days, the hype is continuous. You're always being fed new models, new codexes. That's a topic for maybe another day. But the hype sometimes becomes a little too glossed over, where a new player that's going to say they have a game this weekend, never played against Tyranids, and they're going to go into it, and they've been hearing all these, the guns are just amazing, you're going to get destroyed first turn and all this kind of stuff, right? So they're hearing this, and before they even play their first game, they have this apprehension. They're not scared. This is a game and just models. They're not scared of it, but they have this apprehension, this bad taste in their mouth before they play their first game. And that's why I think it's problematic to the hobby when the hype is so real. So hype is hype. Again, it is what it is. It's here to stay. Will it go away? No. Should it go away? I don't think so. It's very important. So let's get into the next battle report. Like and subscribe. Congratulations to the Tyranids on this beautiful win. We'll see you in the next one.